What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy JD Trades, and I'm bringing you this week's pre-market analysis. So, before we go any further, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate if you guys do that for me, and let's get straight into it. So, we're gonna start things off with the economic calendar. So, this week we do have a holiday in Greece coming on Monday. Tuesday we've got CB consumer confidence. We've got Wednesday new home sales for the dollar. We also have Thursday Governor Bailey speaking for the pound, 10.30. We've got GDP and initial jobless claims for the dollar. Friday, we do have New Zealand's New Year's Day. I had no idea that was on 28th of Friday, June. Fine, fair enough. You learn something new every day. Followed by GDP for the pound, core price index, so CPI for the dollar with the Federal Monetary Policy Report. So it is, it's a pretty decent week so far in terms of economic events. And as we always do, let's just head straight over to the dollar. Right, so what happened last week in terms of dollar's closure? Now we did finish quite a bullish looking candle. We closed around where I kind of expected price to kind of close. If you guys go back to my previous market update, okay, that should be Friday's market update, last week's Friday's market update. I mentioned that the dollar will probably push up and then pull back and then close off the week somewhere around where we've done at the moment. Now, there are a few things to of course look out for, right? And first things first is inside of the daily area, we have left over this daily imbalance, okay? So that's point number one, right? Now, point number two is, of course, we have just broken the high. We've just created a new high. So we may potentially get a pullback before we get a continuation. Now, the liquidity is resting above these highs, okay? Now, the structure at the moment and what we're seeing for the dollar is very bullish, okay? It is showing us bullish intent to actually go and take out the most recent high that it made. So I would like to see that actually come to fruition, right? So if we turn our attention over to the 4 hour time frame, we do have this pretty nice 4 hour candle where price can retrace to early doors. Okay, so early doors in terms of this week, from looking at the economic calendar, we may actually get a pretty solid week where we get moves throughout the whole week. Okay, so Monday, let's see how Monday progresses. If we're actually going to hold this 4 hour candle, which is where I would like for us to get a pullback and a continuation for the dollar, or we may work deeper into that daily imbalance area that I just showed you a second ago. So either way, that is perfectly fine. Now let's turn our attention over to some of the majors. Okay, so at the moment we do have pound dollar. Now we can see on the daily we did take out the low, we pulled back, we closed off the daily imbalance to the T. Okay, and then we've of course extended lower and created that new daily lower low. Now for once I would have to say GU's picture, okay, so pound dollar's picture looks better or looks more identical to the DXY than Euro USD does. Okay, now this is pound dollar on the daily time frame, and this is dollar on the daily time frame. Okay, now this is Euro USD on the daily time frame, and this is dollar on the daily time frame. So it's very interesting so far what GU has been doing. GU's been more closely following the dollar as of lately. Anyways, let's move straight into it. So, as you can see, we've taken out a lot of the liquidity to the downside. All that we have left is the imbalance. Okay, that's all what we have left is the imbalance. Now, we can of course work deeper inside of this imbalance, but it does look like we may get a slight pullback there for pound. Okay, now when we turn our attention over to the 1 hour time frame, the area that I'm kind of suspecting is the area that we rejected from previously. Okay, because if we do get that early doors pullback as I showed you on the dollar there on the 4 hour, okay, so I'm anticipating where GU could potentially head to, where we can find another entry to continue this move to the downside. So far that's the area that I've been able to identify and we should all monitor together. Okay, now in terms of area liquidity, it will be the most recent low, and I'll also be looking at this 4 hour candle sitting down here. Okay, next up is Euro USD. So for EU, okay, since that really brilliant entry there, we are yet to take out the most recent low it made last week, well 2 weeks ago. Okay, last week's Friday's low, right? So if I go to the weekly, I'll just show you guys there. So that would be Monday 10th of June's weekly candles low. We are yet to take that out. Okay, so Euro USD has a much clearer target to the downside than pound dollar does, so it may potentially be better for you to trade Euro USD this week. Of course, pound dollar was actually better last week in my opinion. Of course, hindsight is a beautiful thing, But from looking at this from the 1 hour picture, okay, I'm looking for the exact same area price as kind of giving us this drop from prior. I'm expecting kind of a early doors retracement. Now, if this does push up higher, then I wouldn't be surprised if we actually come and take out all of this consolidation to the upside and we completely liquidate this area and we reject from higher prices. Okay, that is a potential and that's a possibility for Euro USD. All right, next up for you guys would have to be gold. I don't know where my gold chart is. Excuse me. All right, cool. So for gold, as I mentioned to you guys, for gold, I, I was pretty confident last week that we were going to get sales for gold, but gold just kept on holding higher. Even though the dollar was pushing, gold kept on holding higher. This was due to some economic event that I don't actually remember what it was. But at the time, I understood why gold kept on rallying. Now, at the moment, you can see that we have held this 50% of this daily candle and we've dropped drastically from that area. Now, with price doing that, we have taken out some, pretty decent lows on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, we've taken out this little internal structural low here. So if we go to the 4 hour time frame, okay, you can see the low that we have taken out. Now, overall, this move up until we kind of break the low of 23.10, that's when I'll feel the most confident. But because of my outlook on the dollar, okay, because of my outlook on in terms of what I expected gold to do last week, we did hold higher, but eventually we did drop off, late doors on Friday. Okay, price held, and then we actually started dropping down lower. So for this week for gold, I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback, a retracement to then catch a short. Okay, now there are loads and loads and loads of liquidity to the downside, loads of lows to target, right? Looking at things from the daily time frame, I wouldn't mind if we actually had a bit of an expansion, maybe come Monday, okay. Potentially come Tuesday we have a pullback, okay. Wednesday we have a slight consolidation, and then Thursday with that high impact news we actually start to expand to the downside. Okay, that's what this whole picture is showing me right now for gold, and that's what I'm going to be paying close attention to moving on to next week. All right, so next up is BTC USD. Okay, so we are closing in on that 63k mark, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we are heading lower and lower and lower and lower. Now, at the moment, price, with the dollar, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a pull back up. We work inside of this imbalance here on the 1 hour, and then we get a move to the downside again for Bitcoin. Okay, now, like I said to you guys on many occasions, that 63k mark is the ideal area to really look at to push on for that all-time highs for BTC. Maybe we potentially see 80k on the next run to the upside. Guys, if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please drop a like, subscribe, and also turn on that post notification so you're notified whenever I post a new video. With that being said, always remember the theory behind the practice, and I will see you guys for an eventful week ahead in the markets. You have a lovely Sunday. Peace.